Hi, I'm Sydney and welcome back to my Flock and Squawk. Today's video might look a little different if you've seen some of my others, based purely on video quality. And the fact is that I do not film on my highest quality camera. And there are a few reasons for that, but today we are going to go over my entire camera collection and go through some of the things about them and why I don't film on my best camera. So first off, before I get into my cameras, I want to say that I am in no way trying to show off. Cameras and video and photography have been a passion of mine for years at this point, and this is essentially a lifelong collection of my cameras and my gear. Most of it is purely gifted to me by my mom, by family friends. So do not take this as trying to brag and show off or trying to do any of that thing. I'm just purely sharing a passion of mine. And by no means am I rich, but like I said, this has been a lifelong collection of sorts, and just the kindness of those around me trying to foster my passions. So with that being said, here is my camera collection. So first off, my very first camera was this little pink one. It is a Vivitar Vivicam 8025. Now it has an 8 megapixel picture quality, and in bright sunlight it actually doesn't do too bad. I got this probably 5th grade or so. I remember taking it on school trips. I took it on a road trip with my father when he moved states. I took this along and it has served me well. It still is fully functional. It does take video, super poor quality video with no audio at all, but it's super nostalgic to me as being my first camera, and so nowadays I guess I can use it to take some of those 2000s aesthetic digicam pictures. And if you checked over on my Instagram, I actually shared some and asked what potato I took them on. So this was my very first camera, dedicated camera. I actually had a cell phone about the same time that I had this. Which leads me into my next one. I'm not sure if it is actually the next camera I got. I think it might be, but it is the Flip Video Camera HD. So sadly, it no longer works. It worked fairly recently, within the last few years, but now it just will not turn on with fresh batteries or anything, which makes me very sad. It has the little flip out USB, and honestly, I was so happy to have this as a gift for Christmas one year. It's one of the first gifts that I remember my mom and I walking through Costco and me being like, I want that for Christmas, and her letting me know that that is what I was getting for Christmas because we bought it that day, and she just kept it until Christmas. So it was something that just sort of holds a lot of memories. And at the time that I got this, me and my friends were super big into the show iCarly on Nickelodeon, which is about teenagers having a web show, a live stream type, and it is something that I was so excited to have, to try and capture that. So that was my second camera, I believe. And then this is my Canon Powershot SX510HS. It is actually the camera that I first started filming my YouTube content with, and it is just a little point and shoot Canon camera. I got it after my first camera as a dedicated photography camera because I had expressed so much interest in continuing my photography, getting better, having higher quality, and this was that. Now this is now sort of my vacation camera. I love it to bits. I love that there is absolutely no hassle and I don't feel weighed down by taking a camera bag with me when I go out with this. I do use it quite a bit when I'm just sort of going places and I don't want to have my larger camera. It does shoot video. It's not necessarily the best compared to my highest end camera, but I absolutely love it. I've used it for years. This is the camera that I took with me on trips. I've taken it to Washington, D.C., and just knowing that it's precious to me, but there's no hassle, no lenses, and I can just sort of put it in my bag or wear it and not feel worried on vacation. Like I took this on Splash Mountain when we had gone to Disneyland once. So this is my presumably third camera in the line. And then I'm not sure exactly where this fits, but it is a little knockoff GoPro. I believe it calls itself a Geekpro. It was a gift from my grandmother for one Christmas, and while a lot of people might be upset that it's a knockoff, I was just so grateful that she got me something that I actually, you know, fit my interests and felt like a true gift for me and not sort of something that she thought about because I was interested in it when I was younger or even younger. This felt like a timely gift. And it's not super great quality, but it does work as advertised. Like you can do like 11 hours of video on it. The battery definitely does not last that long, but if you have it plugged in, it does function as sort of what you would expect. It has a bit of a fisheye lens, but it works. And especially if you have bright outdoor natural light, it's not too terrible. Now, this camera was a special gift from a family friend. It's an older Canon Rebel. I believe it is a Rebel 2. I have my family friend's camera bag and their gear, and it is a 35mm film camera. It was my first film camera, and it is amazing. I love it so much. It has great weight to it. I haven't really played around with it too much, purely because I am considerate of the cost of film. And I just love it. It is a hefty camera, but I love the 35mm film look. And I've had some photos developed by a dark lab out of California, and that experience was pretty good. So this is just, it was their like family camera, and they felt that I should have it after they've upgraded their camera, and because they know how much I love photography and I really greatly appreciate their gift to me. So this is my 35mm film camera. To go along with 35mm film, I also have this Vivitar. It's basically a disposable camera, but it's reusable. It uses 35mm film, and I just bought it off Etsy. It was fairly cheap. Again, I just wanted a camera similar to my Canon for my digital that I could just throw in a bag and not worry too much about and be able to take a couple snapshots on film. And then into instant film, I have an Instax Mini 8, which I have a ton of film saved up because my mom purchased me a lot of film for it. But it is just a simple point and shoot instant Polaroid style camera, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been with me through high school and college. I mostly take photos of the cats, honestly, and plants and whatnot, but I absolutely do love having an option that's an instant business card sized, just fun little thing to do. And then we have this one, which I purchased myself at an antique vintage shop. It is a true Polaroid impulse camera from, I would believe, probably mid to late 80s. I have never actually tried it, although it does function. The only reason I have not tried it is because the film for me is kind of expensive. The Polaroid 600 film is a little more on the expensive side because it holds the battery that powers this camera. It does not have a battery within it to charge or to replace. The battery is all encased in the film. But I just love it, and I hope that soon I can feel like I can afford getting and using the film for this camera. It just is a bit pricey for me. And now for the camera that I film most of my videos on now. So I got this camera as a gift last Christmas, and then I started filming again. And so for the last year, this has been the camera, or for this past year, this has been the camera I've been using. It is a Sony HandyCam HDR CX405. And part of the reason why I use this, even though it is a bit lower quality compared to the camera I'm currently filming on, the form factor and functionality truly went out for actually filming. And this is a dedicated filming camera. It's meant to capture video. While it does take photos, I never use that option. So flipping out to being able to see myself while I film is a big portion. I am the only one making these videos, and so without having someone behind this camera or me double checking things, it is very difficult. And this can autofocus on its own, whereas my standalone camera requires some help. And not to mention that this is a lot lighter weight and fits in one hand a lot easier. And this also is, it's all contained in one unit, and I don't feel too terrible about putting this in a bag that's not its camera case. So this makes it a little bit easier for filming just in general, even though the quality might not be as high definition or beautiful as this camera. The depth of field is different. So now I'm going to switch over to that camera so we can discuss the one I'm currently filming on, which is my highest quality camera that I personally own. So I'm back. I switched out my cameras. It is a new day, so spot the difference. But this is the camera I filmed on yesterday, or earlier in this video. It is my Canon Rebel Canon Rebel T5. It has a removable lens, and I have the zoom lens for it. But this is my beloved main photography camera. So as you can see, the form factor is a lot different. I can easily use it in one hand, but it is just a lot heavier. The screen does not flip out, so it's a lot harder for me to film solo. In fact, I had to refilm part of yesterday's video because this camera, because it's not made for filming necessarily, it has a limit to how long it can film at a time. And also, so it stopped filming, I set it up again, and it was completely out of focus. That is because since I moved from my spot, went behind the camera, got it restarted, and I used a little remote shutter remote where if I hold it down it focuses. Well, it chose to refocus wrong. I only messed with that because I wanted to make sure, since I had moved and I didn't mark exactly where I was standing, to ensure that I was getting back into focus. But instead, all of the footage ended up being blurry, so I had to refilm for that. But this is a very precious camera to me, and I don't want to accidentally hurt it. It truly means the world to me. It is a very amazing camera. I love all the quality photos I've gotten on it. I love taking it places, other than I want to be careful with it because it is an expensive camera, and it means a lot to me. It was a Christmas gift from my mom. So yeah, I love this camera. It is my main photography camera, and then as you can see, the quality on the HandyCam when I'm filming is not the same, but it is more convenient compared to setting this up on a tripod and having to refilm or have limits to how long I can easily film. But overall, this wins out on quality, but it's not the camera I usually film with. Maybe I can start integrating it more because I do have the remote shutter to do that, but I want to kind of keep consistent quality throughout my videos. Another thing is that I only have one battery for this camera. The same with my smaller camera, my little point and shoot Powershot Canon camera. I did try ordering batteries for them off of the Canon website. However, my order was canceled because they were not able to fulfill that, and I'm a little concerned about getting knockoff batteries off of Amazon. So that's another reason. Whereas my HandyCam that I'm filming on now, I have like 5 batteries for it. They're very easy to find. I can get a little external charger and do that. So it's kind of not necessarily an issue because it's not Canon's fault that they weren't able to fulfill my order necessarily. It is a little bit, but I can understand with supply chain issues, and I was trying to order it in 2021, so that was probably more of an issue, whereas maybe if I ordered today I'd be able to. But it's just a little more convenient using a dedicated recording camera. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed seeing my cameras and getting an idea of why I film how I do. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Till next time, bye.